everyone, I'm Jeannie Malone, and I'm here to help you write that essay that you need to write for your middle school class. Now, today we're going to use the example of the life cycle of flowering plants. Alright, now maybe this is something that your science teacher has assigned, or maybe your teacher has given you the liberty of picking whatever you want to write about. Now, when we have a topic that we have already read so much about, we've read books and articles, our teacher took us to the computer lab, we had to research for homework on the internet at home. We've done so much reading on a topic and we've learned so many things, but how do we get all that into an essay? Well, we don't. Your teacher doesn't expect you to get everything that you read into a little essay, but your teacher does expect you to be able to pick out some main ideas and some good supporting details and organize everything into a 5-paragraph essay. Now, let's look at an easy way to master this 5-paragraph essay, okay? Let's use our hand, okay? We have our hand with the palm that can tell us for the big picture what our essay is about. Now, today's topic, we're going to use the life cycle of flowering plants, okay? So that's what we're going to talk about, our big thing today. Now, the 5 fingers, okay, that represents the 5 paragraphs that you have to write, okay? You have your introductory paragraph, and then you have body paragraphs 1, 2, and 3. And then you have your conclusion paragraph. So there are your 5 paragraphs. Now, let's go a step further. Let's look at our hand for each of the body paragraphs, okay? Now, once you decide those main ideas that you're going to use for those body paragraphs, use that hand organizer again, because you're going to use the palm of your hand to use as your topic sentence. What is this paragraph about, okay? So whatever your paragraph is about is the main idea, and it goes here on your palm. And then you're going to have 5 sentences that give supporting details about that topic, okay? So let's look at some examples. All right, so here is my hand, my outline of this topic essay of Know Your Plant's Life Cycle. So let's look at the topic sentence, shall we? Though flowering plants have the same basic parts and go through the same process as their life cycle spans different lengths of time. Now, let's look at our different fingers, okay? We have our thumb that says they all begin as seeds. And then we have some steps here with some transitions. Your teacher will want you to use those, trust me. Now, the first action that occurs with that seed is the roots sprout from the radical. Okay, you've already read all of this. I know. You've done your research. I'm helping you organize it. But then next, you have this transition. Next, what happens after the roots develop? Then you have the stem that develops from the plumule. Then we have this transition. Then the plant grows. Then finally, you have this transition. Finally, what happens? It flowers, develops fruit, more seeds, and new plants. So there is the complete overview of the plant's life cycle. So that gives us our introductory paragraph. Now, that's going to tell us no matter what a plant is, if it's a flowering plant, that's its life cycle. It doesn't matter how long it takes. That's the life cycle it goes through, okay? Now, let's think about, what can our main ideas be? We need 3 main ideas. Well, an easy one is if you just choose the 3 different lengths of time that the life cycles are. So if you have annuals, biennials, and perennials, those are the 3 life cycle spans that your plants are going to go through if they're flowering plants. So let's look at an easy way to organize this, okay? Let's look together. Let's look at annuals, okay? That can be body paragraph 1. we're going to look at annuals. Annuals have a life cycle of 1 year or one complete growing season. Now, you see these 5 fingers? Remember, these represent the different 5 distinct details that you can tell me in your essay about this particular thing. So all these details must be about annuals, okay? That's important. So let's look at what we can tell, the details about annuals. Let's look at the word annuals. Well, let's look at the word part. Annie, okay, for Anne. Annie means year. Annuals, years, okay? An annual, a year. Annuals grow in less than 1 year. They complete their growing season or their life cycle in less than 1 growing season. So let's look at the next finger, the bloom. How long is the bloom time? How long until the flowers bloom on the plant? How long do they bloom for once they are bloomed? Now, what's the future of this plant? Will it keep on growing? And will I be able to enjoy it for a long time or a short time? Will it have seeds? Will it produce new plants? What's the deal? Okay, next let's look at the climate and the soil. What climate does this plant prefer? What kind of soil does it need? Well, then our last finger, our pinky, let's look at some examples. Give me some kinds of annuals. Just list some different annuals. Maybe you want to give something interesting that you know, that you read in your research about those kinds of annuals. Maybe, for example, you want to tell me the difference between the cold hardy annuals, like pansies and violas, and maybe then you want to mention the not so hardy, the tender annuals, which would be the impatiens and some of the more tender plants like vinca. They will not tolerate the cold. They will go when it gets to freezing or near freezing. Some of them can't even get that close. They might get to 38 degrees and then they die. All right, now I want you to notice on our biennials, we have the same setup. You have your topic here, okay, biennials. And then you're going to look at the word part, by, any, ols, okay? By means to, any means year, and al means of or to do with, okay? So their life cycle, biennials, their life cycle is over in 2 growing seasons or 2 years. Now, we're going to have the same exact details. They're going to be different information because it's a different kind of plant. But you're going to look at the same things. You're going to look at the word parts. You're going to look at the bloom time. You're going to look at the future of the plant. You're going to look at the climate and the soil that it needs. And you're going to look at the examples. Give me some examples of some biennials. And then you're going to do the same thing for perennials. Okay? So there, you've got the body of your essay. Bam, you're almost done. And you thought this was going to be hard. No, it's not that hard. You got it. No sweat. All right, now you've got your conclusion. In your conclusion, you're going to recap, okay? But not just restate what you've already said in your introduction. That's boring, right? Give some new information too. So let's recap in this sentence. In conclusion, knowing a flowering plant's life cycle is helpful in knowing how to care for the plant and knowing what to expect of the plant. Okay, well, let's look at our fingers. We can give some different details. They all have the same growing life cycle. Doesn't matter how long the growing season is. They all have the same parts and the same cycle. It just takes a different length of time. Okay, well, let's look at the different lengths of time. What were they? Annual, biennial, perennial. And then here, let's look at why is it important to keep up with the different life cycles, the time spans. Well, for example, for farmers, they need to keep up with it because it's our food supply. And it's their money. That's how they make money. That's their job. So it's important for them to know how long a plant will take to grow and produce fruit or food, and how long it's going to live and do that, or if it's going to hurry up and produce fruit and then die. Now, I used another transition here. I said furthermore, okay? You can use any of the transitions Teachers should have a list for you. If they don't, you can Google and you can find some great websites that have some list of transitions for you to use. We can talk about some here in class also. Now, I used a transition here to say furthermore, gardeners, landscapists, horticulturalists, they need to keep up with the growing seasons, the length of the time, because they want to keep things beautiful. They need to know when things are going to flower so they know when to plant things so they can keep flowers going on and on and on. So let's look at the pinky. Knowing the difference keeps you from being disappointed, right? So you don't plant your corn and you have no idea when to expect that corn to grow corn. Or maybe you planted a beautiful flower for your mom for Mother's Day, and you know what? It was just green. It was just this green ugly plant, and it didn't match the pretty picture with the pretty flower. Well, that's because it was a biennial. And see, if you understand what a biennial is, then you know, oh wait, I just have to wait until next year. So I'll tell Mom that next year her flower will be beautiful. So knowing the different lengths of time will help us to understand our plants. So knowing the life cycles of our plants is very important. It's very helpful. So I hope this has helped you to better organize your thoughts today so that you can go back to your science class with your awesome polished essay using your transitions and organizing your thoughts to where you have 5 paragraphs. You have 3 body paragraphs, and each of those body paragraphs has 5 detailed sentences after that topic sentence. I know you're going to do awesome. Thank you so much.